All right, Jennifer.
Yes.
Jennifer, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in the city of Alhambra. It's in San Gabriel Valley.
And tell me about your family. You had mom and dad?
Yes, I have my adoptive mom. She's the one that primarily raised me because I got taken away from my parents at birth due to them using methamphetamines. They didn't try any means to try to get custody back of me. They kind of just gave up. All my siblings we're all put in foster care, so we're all separated.
How would you describe your childhood?
I had a really rough childhood because I was confused. Um, in my with my adopted family, I was always a black sheep because since they were not my blood family, like I always felt indifferent, and so I started going through depression at a really young age, and as well as having ADHD, I couldn't focus in school. So it was really hard for me to get good grades in school. I was always failing. I would eventually start ditching school, and eventually I started going on MySpace and meeting older men, and like at a very young age, actually at the age of 14. So that's when I started to like kind of like wonder like, oh, what's sex about? Like because I was attracted to men and stuff at the time.
Was there any sexual abuse in your childhood?
Oh yes, I actually met a guy off MySpace at a park in LA, and he raped me. He was 19, I was 14, and I told him no. He kept going, and that's how I lost my virginity. So at that time, I felt like a disgrace, because like I felt disgusting. I felt really disgusted with myself because I felt like I could have done something about it, and I didn't. I was molested at the age of 4 years old at a preschool by one of the teacher aides. So, like, I started thinking about sex at a really young age because I was abused as a child and then as a teenager. So, and my mom that adopted me never spoke to me about sex. She didn't even like to talk to me about periods because she didn't want me to grow up too quick. And it's ironic because, little does she know that I was molested and raped, at a young age.
What kind of kid were you in high school?
I was rebellious. I was a pothead. You never saw me in school, and if you saw me in school, I would be like this on the desk. I wouldn't, I didn't like to look at the teacher. I didn't like to look at the board. I didn't like to do homework, schoolwork, nothing. I didn't like to socialize. I just hated school. I hated it, and it got to the point to where I like would just go off with men or older guys and stay with them in their houses and just get loaded, get high, and just put off school.
Was that your ADHD that kind of
And not so much that. I think it was so much of the
that and the sexual abuse? Perhaps?
yeah, the things that the people that hurt me and the things that I went through at such a young age, that was on my mind too much. I was focusing too much on it, and the fact that I felt like I couldn't communicate with my family that adopted me the way that I wish I could, it was a big block. It was a big blocker for me. I felt like I couldn't like connect with them on a personal level because they would always judge me all the time too. They couldn't understand me. They couldn't figure me out because like they never dealt with a drug addicted child, because I was born addicted to drugs, so yeah,
Your adopted family was good?
they're good, protective, they're not bad people, though they know that I had to deal with abuse outside of the home, I've had abusive relationships. I've never fit in to begin with anywhere. People never really could relate to me or understand me. They thought I was weird, because I've always been very quiet, a very quiet person, not outgoing, and to them that's weird, They couldn't understand why I couldn't be normal, you know. So
And drug use started for you when?
at 16, I started at 16. I started smoking weed, smoking spice, and drinking alcohol. And that wasn't doing nothing for me. It got to that point. So I was like, okay, let me try meth, you know? So I tried meth. And then that stopped working for me. So I started slamming meth. And then that sort of stopped working. So I'm like, let me try some heroin, you know? Let me try the opposite. And that worked. That worked, along with smoking pills, M30 pills. And then fentanyl came out, and then that's when everything changed for me. You know, like it made me feel like I didn't give a fuck about anything. You know, I didn't care what people thought about me. You know, I didn't care about the way that they look at me. Like it just, I'm gonna be me. You know, and that's when I cut my hair. I dress like a guy sometimes if I feel like it, and I don't care if somebody's gonna look at me and think that I look weird, you know, or because people do question me that a lot. Every day they'll ask me, "Are you a guy or a girl?" And it does frustrate me and aggravates me because it's only common sense that I'm a female. Like it's like it's ignorant to me, you know, and I don't understand how somebody could be so ignorant, you know, and try to waste my time by asking such an obvious question, you know. I have to deal with a lot of hatred outside being homeless, like a lot of hatred, you know. It's not easy getting up every morning if I do get some sleep, waking up in an alley near a garbage pit or something, you know, with the garbage man trying to pick up trash, yelling at you, or waking up in a parking lot in security, like hassling you and giving you literally not even 5 minutes to get your stuff together, you know, and throwing your shit around and just being very rude and disrespectful. It's not easy every day.
What's the hardest part of this lifestyle for you? As a woman, it's tough.
Keeping myself safe, because a lot of men do approach me, and a lot of men are disrespectful, and a lot of them are liars, and I have to deal with that. I have to manipulate them every day, you know, just to save my own ass, just to get me out of situations so I don't get hurt, you know?
Have you had bad things happen?
Yes. I've been raped before out here, you know, across the street from Union Station. I've been raped, and it's not easy for me to just open up and say that to somebody, but I think it'd be good for people to know so that they're aware of the dangers of what can happen, to never be by yourself, to always at least have somebody by your side. And sometimes it's hard to have somebody by your side because you can't trust anybody, you know, and people demonstrate that to me every day, that they can't be trusted. So it's like, it's hard. It's very hard, you know? You don't know if you're gonna make it from one day to the next, you know, and you don't get sleep because you have to be constantly watching your back and your stuff. Your stuff gets robbed by people that have no hustle, that are just lazy and just watch people and see what they can come up on, you know? It's very, very difficult being addicted to fentanyl and not being accepted by my family.
How does this lifestyle get to you emotionally?
It's draining, and I want to keep using because of it, you know? If someone just said, "Hey, Jennifer, come move in with me," I would stop using like that in a heartbeat. I really would, you know? But the fact that rehabs aren't easy to get into because there's waiting lists, and if your phone gets stolen, that's even harder to get into a rehab, you know? There's a lot of obstacles. It's not easy just for somebody to stop using.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. No kids?
I have 3 kids.
You do?
Yeah.
And where are they?
They're with my family. They're with my mom. And that's another reason why I do intend to get off the streets soon. Every chance that I'm around a friend that has a phone, I'll call a rehab and I'll try to see if I can get on their waiting list, because I miss my kids very much and they miss me too, and it's not worth being out here, you know? It's not worth getting high to be away from my kids at all.
The father or fathers of your children?
They're not involved.
No.
No.
How many fathers? 2 or 3?
2.
2. Fentanyl's a hard drug to
It's
break free from.
it's very hard, and a lot of people judge us, you know? They judge us and they all think we're pieces of shit, but really at the end of the day, a lot of people don't know what we go through on a day-to-day basis. And if they knew, if they went through what we go through, I think this world would be less judgmental. And there'd be a lot more help instead of people pointing their phones at us and looking down on us.
If you had your life to live all over again, what would you have done differently?
I wouldn't have put myself in situations to where I could have got hurt. You know, I wouldn't have went online, or I wouldn't have, if I knew the dangers more, I wouldn't have done certain things that had led me to this point now. But I thought I was invincible, you know? I thought I was invincible, like, and clearly I'm not, you know, because the next time I could end up dead. And it's not a joke, you know? It's not.
Is this your lowest point right now?
I would say yes, it is. Because I'm not with my kids. And I'm still using.
Do you have friends?
I have acquaintances. You know, I wouldn't call them friends though.
Where do you stay at night?
I stay at MacArthur Park.
Do you just find a place to crash, or do you have a tent?
I find I'll fall asleep in a parking lot. I'll not off, or I'll fall asleep at a bus stop. I'll fall asleep wherever I'm at. You know, if I'm that exhausted, I'll just fall asleep.
Oh. What do you do for money?
I boost. I hate doing it. I hate going into a store, you know, and having to steal, you know, because of the way that people look at me and stare at me. It makes me feel like a piece of shit. But they don't know what the hell we have to go through, you know? Sometimes I go in there just to steal food because I'm that hungry, you know? And especially when I get caught and they take the food away from me, that feeling right there hurts a lot, you know? It's very frustrating. Especially at the fact that these employees are just mistreating us, you know, like, I don't know. I know it's not right to steal and stuff, but what is there? There's no other option, you know?
How do you think your time on the streets has changed you?
I feel like it's changed me into a better person because, like, I used to be somewhat of a judgmental person, and I'm not anymore. Like I look at people a lot differently now, you know, and I accept people a lot more easier and better now, and I help people, you know, even if it's not with $1 or with drugs. Like, I'll help them if I have an extra shirt in my backpack or an extra water in my backpack, you know. It's made me a better person. Yeah.
Jennifer, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
I say the most important lesson in my life that I learned is to never stray away from your kids. It's not worth it. No drink, no hit, no guy is worth your kids, you know? Because I miss them a lot.
All right, Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I hope you get back with your kids.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.